Welcome back to another episode of Rate My Build, and welcome to the premiere. I hope all of our members are spamming up those emotes in the premiere. They're over this way or they're over that way, wherever the chat is. I'm not really sure. PG fan. PG. I think it is that way, even though on our little screen it looks like it's this way.
And hold up, before you get going.
What? I'm already going, man.
I know what they're thinking right now.
What are they thinking?
And no, the answer is it was not planned. We are twinning today.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But it happens a lot, guys. But this was not planned for Rate My Build. Just had to throw that out there.
Yeah, we just had a potential meeting with a partnership. We call this our dressy Pacers gaming outfit.
Right.
We almost texted each other not to do this, but
should have known.
We knew this was going to happen.
We knew it.
All right, guys, I was talking about the emotes because we have memberships on the channel. That's not subscribers. That's members. Kind of like subscriptions on Twitch. You guys get emotes, you get special access to Q&A, and a lot more that we have planned. The rookie membership's only 99 cents, Cody.
Cheapest we can make it.
Even cheaper than on Twitch. 1 month on Twitch would be 5 months on Pacers Gaming YouTube channel.
That's crazy.
So guys, hit the join button down below, or if you're on the desktop, there's a link in the description as well. Might even make it the top comment on the video. By the way, also in the description, you guys can still submit builds. Throughout this whole thing, you can submit builds. We have a big old running list of 850 plus builds submitted. We pluck out 5 for every episode. Cody, we got another special guest YouTuber on this episode.
Yeah, we do. We have OneRedMike, who is a member of this channel. Shout out to Mike, one of our biggest supporters. He was outstanding in this episode. We've already filmed it, so I know what's going to happen. And I'm a guest too, and I think we have Nate Call on as well. So it's a great episode. Some good builds, some bad builds, maybe. We'll have to see. But a lot of fun. Great episode. We really hope you guys enjoy it. We ready to go?
I'm ready. I thought you already threw it that way, but here, instead of throwing it to yourself, I'll throw it to Cody and the guys and OneRedMike.
All right, guys, we are back. We have 2 guest judges with me today, and yours truly is going to be rating builds as well. But first, we have Nate. What's going on, Nate?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? You said we have 2 guest judges, Cody. I'm not a guest judge. Come on, man.
You're a guest. You're always my guest until you're in this room.
All right, which I will be soon.
Next week. Next week. And then without further ado, we have one of our members on the channel, one of our big supporters who's always in the chat, an outstanding content creator on YouTube in the 2K world. It's OneRedMike. Mike, how you doing? What's up? Where are you from? Talk to the people about your content.
Doing all right, man. I am actually a Spanish-speaking YouTuber, so if you know any Spanish at all and are interested in 2K content in that language, OneRedMike is the place to go. You'll find me on YouTube or any of the social media platforms or the consoles by that same name, so it's easy to find. We do tutorials, badge descriptions similar to 2K Lab, gameplay, some live streamings on Twitch as well. So just hit us up over there, and we'll try to help you out as much as we can. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, we're excited to bring you in, merge sort of our 2 worlds of the English speaking and your Spanish following as well. So we're excited to have you, man.
Appreciate it. It's awesome.
Well, let's go ahead and hop straight into it. We got 5 builds for you guys today. The first of which we have Young Plague. This is our point guard, 6'5", minimum wingspan, 99.9 overall. 200 on the weight, and only plays Park. Now, I haven't seen any of the builds yet. Spence picked them out this week, and it says the first description to get its own page.
That's right.
So let's look at this, guys. Oh my gosh.
That is a lengthy description right there. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow, you might want to do just one episode for this guy.
This is crazy. So we won't read straight through here, but jump shot 38. He talks all about his slashing, his shooting, his playmaking, his defending. I'll leave it to you two as we go through to read through this at your own convenience, the people at home as well. But we're gonna hop over here. 99 overall, 2-way slashing playmaker, point guard. Mike, I'm going to throw it to you. What do you think about our guy, Young Plague?
Just looking at the attributes, I mean, at 99, this is one of the best builds at point guard, in my opinion. It just does it all. If you're good at shooting, 73 is way more than you need. You pretty much hit from anywhere if you got the right badge set up. So we'll see about that soon. You get contact dunks here. You have, like I mentioned, that 73 3-point. You got the 79 mid-range. You got 91 ball handle, which is elite level ball handle. And then that defense, you're almost at 90. If he plays with a center that has defensive leader, he's going upwards of 90. So you got elite level defense there too. I mean, you can't go wrong with a build like this, really.
Awesome. Nate, what do you think?
Yes, I mean, this is the build I think that people use, if they don't want to use the BP build, usually, generally speaking. So you're going to have like a lot of lock badges. You're going to be, super duper athletic, and just be able to get downhill like every single possession. So early thoughts, I like it. We'll talk about it more once we get into the badges, but I like it early on.
Definitely. No, I like the white fro. He's got the skateboard too. This dude's hooping. I like it.
Yeah, you don't see the white fro that often. I'm not gonna.
I can't tell you the last white fro I saw.
Yeah, no, I don't see it too often. A little bit.
He's unique. All right, let's talk about these finishing badges here, Mike. He has 11 of them. Some that we see quite often. Others, I won't even. I'm not going to bias you, Mike. What do you think about his badges here?
Let's see. I mean, I like it. He's got 11. He doesn't have that much to work with. Contact finisher gold, that's a must in my opinion. I'm a big fan of slithery finisher myself.
Yep.
So I would definitely keep that at gold as well. I'm starting to experiment not using fancy footwork on players that have a high finishing attribute. And I'm starting to see that maybe it's not as important as we think, but I'm still kind of playing with it. Giant Slayer, can't go wrong. Relentless Finisher, I don't know. Not a fan of that badge as of yet. But overall, I think it's a good combination for sure.
Nate, before I throw it to you, I did have to hop over here and check. He is 6'5", and you guys know I like Giant Slayer, but 6'5" on a point guard, if he's matching up with someone of similar height, I'm not sure how much that would really help him. Obviously, if he's getting to the rack a lot and going against the bigs, of course that helps. But Nate, what do you think? Would you keep Giant Slayer on for this one?
No, I actually don't like it on at all for this one. I don't think it's going to help as much. I think I'd probably go I still am a fan of fancy footwork. I'd probably up that and then maybe put either consistent or relentless up a little bit, I would say.
Okay. And Mike, talk to me on fancy. What have you seen? Is it actually you playing and you've seen when you have a high, did you say driving dunk, or what was it that?
Yeah, I mean, fancy footwork, at a basic level, it's your hop step, it's your spin gather, all those fancy gathers. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I've been playing both rec center and park with about silver level fancy footwork, and then comparing it to where I had it, at a Hall of Fame level, because it's actually a slashing playmaker I have. That's actually a slasher playmaker, not your pure playmaker build. Mm-hmm. And I still feel like I can effectively do hop steps and do spin gathers, and they're still working for me. I don't feel a huge difference as of yet. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest with you. I've played probably 5 to 6 games at silver, and so far I don't see much of a difference.
Okay, so maybe if you have that high slashing ability already in your build,
right,
maybe that could be a trend that we find here soon, that you don't have to rank it up as high as maybe the pure play or a sharp or even a big. We recommend sometimes use that. Okay, let's move on here to his shooting badges. Again, a 73-3. Nate, He's got the bottom part of the diamond, but has chosen to go a couple different ways. What do you think?
Yeah, so I don't like it if he, and I haven't read his entire description, so he might talk about it a little bit in there. I don't know if you guys can pick that out, but if he's controlling, I'm assuming he's controlling the ball 90-95% of the game. I don't like catch and shoot or corner specialist on unless you can afford to have it on. And I think in his case, I don't think he can afford it. So what I would do is I would take away catch and shoot and corner specialist completely. At that point, you have 3 available upgrades. I would probably increase range extender probably to gold.
And hold up. I don't mean to be rude to you, Nate, but I did read it real quick. I think he only plays out of the corner with this build.
He only plays out of the corner. Okay, see, that's why we read descriptions.
Yep.
There we go. So then I actually don't mind this setup at all. Actually, the only thing I would change then if he's just playing out of the corner is I would take away range extender completely, and then probably put on at least Deadeye Bronze. And then you can throw that last one either on Green Machine, Silver, or Hot Zone Hunter Silver. Yeah, you can mess around with that last one, but I wouldn't have on the range extender if you're just playing from the corner, me personally.
Okay, and Mike, I'll let you give your thoughts, but my first question is, it said he uses jump shot 38, but he has quick draw on gold. Do you think he could use it on silver and push that badge elsewhere?
So I actually, yeah. Oh, are you asking me or Mike? I'm sorry.
Both of you. Either
Okay,
one.
all right. Okay, go ahead, Mike. Shoot.
No, yeah, absolutely. There's not much to say. That jump shot, at silver, for me, I've tested it. It's the best level for it.
Mm-hmm. Nate, same thing?
I concur, yeah. I think it's the most optimal to have it on silver with jump shot 38.
Perfect.
I think it's the best jump shot for corner builds, really, because you save a point right there.
Exactly. Anything else you would change, Mike?
I don't know if you guys saw the latest video on 2K Lab regarding machine. They say that if you have less than 80, you probably can skip it. That hasn't been, I haven't tried it that much yet. I have a plus 90, 3 on my main player. So I brought it down to silver, didn't see much of a difference, but I guess he could play with that as well. I agree with taking range extender away because he's shooting out of the corner. I probably bring up hot zone, and corner at bronze is just fine for what he does.
Perfect. All right, let's move on here to playmaking. This is where his bread and butter really is. Mike, what do you see here?
Let's see, bailout. It's a must. I learned that from you guys. It's a must.
Yep.
I put it there. I never took it away again. It makes such a huge difference. 10 out of 10 times, 9 times you will not throw it away. It's amazing. Dimer, I'd probably bring that up to Hall of Fame. Floor general, I'm not a big fan of unless he is playing out of the corner, so he might not be the main baller, and in that case, this is probably the best setup for him. Handles for days, quick first step, and tight handles is a must, in my opinion, to have Hall of Fame. So I actually like his setup, especially not being the main ball handler in his team.
I'm with you. Nate, I'm going to go ahead and let you take defense and rebounding since it's your bread and butter. Anything you see here? It looks like this guy's watching our videos because his setup's almost dead on right here.
I like his setup a lot, to be honest. The only thing I guess I can read the description real quick. I'm curious. So he's saying he plays like a pure lock. So I'm assuming that means he's playing up at the top, whether it's on the wing or guarding ball. I love Hall of Fame pick dodger. I think you need it. I love the bronze ring protector and chase down combination. I think that's a great combination. I love having interceptor on silver. It can even go higher, but right now he doesn't have any extra points. The only thing I would say, and I'm fine with the intimidator on Hoff as well, is that if you can have one of your corner defender builds put on that Hall of Fame defensive leader so you don't have to. So then not only does it help by giving you 4 available badge points, but it also helps your defense by increasing all the attributes by 4 points. So I would want to take off that defensive leader completely. Maybe put pickpocket on Hoff if you're going to be playing up so you can be really scrappy. You could even throw trapper on silver and then up interceptor to Hoff. You could get sort of fancy with those combinations, but outside of that, I think it's as good a setup as you're going to get.
Awesome. Mike, any last thoughts before we rate him?
Yeah, I agree. If he's not playing out of the corner, I don't think he should have a defensive leader. That should be someone else's job, at the 5v5. I'd probably go with pickpocket instead. In interceptor, I'm not sure if he's playing top or wing, how much he needs it, being a defender already. But other than that, I like the setup.
Mike, how do you feel personally about interceptor? I'm just curious. How do you think the badge is?
I love the badge at bronze. My main build only has 3 defensive badges. So I do clam silver and I do interceptor bronze. And when I take it off just to put pick dodger or something else, I feel such a huge difference.
Sure.
Just as far as getting those catch animations, especially when they just lift up, and catch the ball right off the pass. So I'm a big fan of interceptor at bronze.
Good deal. Well, let's go ahead and rate him, and I want you to rate him in mind of he only plays park. So keep that in mind. He is only a park player. On offense, he's playing in the corner. On defense, he guards ball. Okay, from what I can tell. So, Nate, I'll let you go first. Where do you want to rate our guy, Young Plague?
I'm gonna give him an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's a well-rounded build. It's gonna be, it's uber. He knows this about his build. It's really athletic. He's gonna be able to get to the basket almost at ease. And I like his badge layout for the most part. Besides a few things, so I think it's good. I'll give him an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, Mike.
I'll give him a 9. I really like this build, the way he tailored it towards his team's needs. And that's something that I really appreciate in someone. You got to make some compromises sometimes for that. So the attributes are just killer, great defender, good shooter, great attacking the rim. I mean, it's all around a beast build. It's one of my favorite builds in the game for sure. So I'll go with 9.
Awesome. And you know what, guys? I'm going to go at 9.5. I really, really like this build in park, especially. Because I think he is clamping up as much as you possibly can against those dribble gods with this build, but you can still make a difference on offense out of the corner when you need to in the stage. I think you're elite if you got the right stick here. Your badge setup is almost perfect. Switch a couple of those things these two guys talked about. I think this is an outstanding build, one of the best we've seen for park, especially so far this year.
It's definitely a good build. It's definitely a good build.
Build number 2 of the day, we have Chosen One 2K. That's a pretty fun name. I like that. Very creative. It's our shooting guard build, 6'6", 3 below default on wingspan, another 99.9 overall, 219 weight, and plays all modes. So we'll keep that in mind as we go through here. Very quickly, jump shot 38, baby Kawhi build. There's nothing the player can't do. Greens 3s. Downhill play, going to the basket is very effective. He can ISO and dribble moves with this player. Built for success. So it sounds like an all-around build. Lockdown defense. This build even makes it tough on quick and cheesy PG builds and the BP build. He thinks this is the best shooting guard in the league, in the build, Nate, in the world.
Bold.
Let's see what this is. This is bold. He's a two-way sharp. Nate, I'm going to throw it to you. What do you think so far about this one?
Well, there's a lot to unpack here, to say the least. So he says, I'm a little conflicted early because, he explains him having, he says it's like the baby Kawhi build. And, I think what he's meaning by that is it can score, really efficiently and obviously play really good defense on the other end, which I think that is a great thing to look for if you can make that sort of build. Mm-hmm. The first thing I noticed is his wingspan is 3 below default, which we usually say unless you're a point guard, you want that to be max wingspan for the most part. But I might give him a pass because it seems like he's trying to take advantage of some of those mismatches and he wants his three-pointer a little bit higher. And we'll see as we look in the shooting badges and stuff what he chooses to put his, where he allocates his badge points. But early on, just first glance, the attribute stats, his defense and rebounding is really high. He didn't touch his rebounding too much. He can shoot the heck out of the ball. He's got an 86 three-pointer. His finishing is formidable. I mean, he's got 81 driving dunk, 85. So he's going to be able to finish pretty well at the rim. And his playmaking is actually pretty good too for being, sort of a two-way sharp, sort of lock sort of build. He's got 77 ball handling, along with 85 pass accuracy. So I'm giving it a chance early on. It looks like there's a lot going on, but it looks like it can work.
Okay, Mike, is this the best overall build you've seen at shooting guard? What do you think?
I don't know about the best, but it's pretty darn good. I'll tell you that much. I like what I see. 86 3-point, that's almost elite level 3-point for me. I mean, if you're good at shooting, you're not missing. You are not missing. Mm-hmm. You got the right badge set up. Like, you guys talk a lot and here in the, in the rate my builds. So playmaking, like Nate said, it's above average for the build that he made. Very good defense, good finishing. He's fast, 94 speed, 90 acceleration at 6.
Yeah.
I would have loved more wingspan because, you know, if you're not playing on ball, you want to have those possible, regardless of what game mode you play, you know? So that's one thing I don't like a lot. But other than that, it looks very good so far.
Awesome. Let's move on to badges here. He only has 5 in finishing. Looks like he's gone with consistent and contact. Consistent's one of the ones that, you know, our team doesn't really care for as much as others. Where would you guys allot these badges if you had the chance?
Yeah, so I would do fancy footwork probably on silver, maybe gold, and then slithery on silver or gold. So I would have that combination instead of contact and consistent. I don't think he's going to be getting much contact dunks with 81 driving dunk personally. So I don't think it's needed for this build.
Mike?
I don't think it's needed either, although it does help with contact layups as well. Just keep that in mind. But if he's playing this build the way he should be playing, which isn't trying to finish at the rim, although he can, not saying he shouldn't, but it's just not, you know, one of his strengths. I would definitely go with slithery finisher, which is going to help lower that contest rate as he's, you know, attacking the rim whenever he is. And I like a combination that All City Live talked about. He talked about pro touch and consistent finisher together. I tried it out, and I do feel that you get more layups in with those two together. I don't know what it is about them, but he was right on point on his theory about that. So I would probably throw those in there too.
Awesome, and
Just
that's why
maybe bronze.
Perfect. And that's why we do these, is to hear those little combinations that you guys are trying, that the content creators or you, the viewers, have found something a little secretive, like the consistent pro touch combo. I suggest you listen to Mike, listen to All City, go try it out for yourself and see if it works for you. Okay, let's talk about his shooting badges here. He has 17. I don't think he said where he plays necessarily. So assuming he plays wing most of the time because he has this purple range extender. Nate, what do you think about his setup here?
Yeah, so definitely assume that he is not just standing in the corner at all times. He's definitely coming up to play wing occasionally, might even have the ball in his hands, to be honest. So with that being said, I actually think this is a pretty solid setup. Is that silver catch and shoot he has there?
I think it is, yes.
And it's highlighted, so I wasn't too sure. I would actually probably take that off and maybe put that on green machine if you're not just going to be a spot-up shooter the entire time. If he is going to be a spot-up shooter, then he can put it on catch and shoot. It's kind of a game-to-game basis, I think, with this badge layout. But quick draw, range extender, hot zone hunter, deadeye, I'm fine with all that on where it is.
Okay, Mike, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked on the other build. He uses jump shot 38, but with quick draw. And, last one was on gold. This one's on Hall of Fame. But he is a shooter and moving around the court. So just overall thoughts on this quick draw badge with 38?
I mean, if he's consistent with it, you know, that's amazing. I've tried it. I can't. Even most jump shots, I use them at gold. It's just not for me, right? But if he's that good at timing and he can use Hall of Fame, you know, then props to him. That's amazing.
So quick.
He's got an 86 3-point, so I would add green machine somehow. I don't think catch and shoot is that important if he's a ball handler sometimes. So maybe even take down range extender to gold, and that way we can up green machine some more. Just a thought on that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with you on all accounts there. Let's move on to playmaking. First thing I notice here is bailout on silver. Go ahead and drop it to bronze.
Drop it.
If you watch our videos, you know bronze is more than effective for what you need. Mike, is there anything else you see here that you would change? Needle threader is interesting, right? At gold?
Yeah, it is. Unnecessary, in my opinion. I used to use it at Hall of Fame, actually, before, and then I started playing with it, and I got to a point where I brought it down to silver and just left it there because it was working fine for me. So I think, quick first step at gold is good. He's got to have... I don't think he needs tight handles, really, because he's not really that much of a ball handler. But handles for days, I think it's very important because if you lose out on that stamina, he doesn't have tireless shooter on his shooter badges. So that's definitely going to take down, his shot. Just, I would definitely throw in their handles for days whenever he's handling the ball.
Now, Nate, my question for you is, we always preach when you make a build, have a reason to make it, right? You are wanting to play a certain play style. For me, this build can do a lot. But does he need 10 badges in playmaking? Could they have gone elsewhere to make this build more effective in the way he wants to play?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you just look at his badge layout, defense and rebounding, not to cheat too much, but he only has 14.
Yep.
He only has 14 defensive and rebounding badges. That could have gotten turned into 20, 22. I'm not sure exactly on the count, but if he would have upped his rebounding and maybe lowered like his pass accuracy, which I don't think you need at an 85, that could have made a big difference. I think personally, if you're trying to make that lock hybrid type of build, I only think you need about 4 to 5, 6 playmaking badges max. You don't need 10, but he could be out there, getting buckets and just like, dude, Nate, come guard me, man. Let me show you why I need 10 playmaking badges. So, but those are just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, last but not least, defense and rebounding. Again, I'm going to start off by saying take chase down to bronze. You don't need it up there, and you can allocate it somewhere else. Another badge we've talked a lot about is Intimidator. He has it all the way up to purple. Both of you, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down on Intimidator at purple.
I'm going to keep it quick. I'm going to give you a thumb sideways.
Okay.
Just if he's guarding ball every play, you can still have it on. It's not the most efficient, like bang for your buck, sort of thing, but it's okay. It just depends on how he's playing.
Okay, Mike?
I'm biased.
You got to give me this first, though. Show me where you are.
I'm gonna go down because I'm biased. I just hate this badge so bad. I'm gonna admit it right now. According to TK Lab, it's gonna affect your shot by 14%. That's ridiculous. It's just way overpowered.
Right.
So, however, for his effectiveness, it's a thumbs up if he's on ball, because especially guards that play on screens and going with the behind the back cheese. From his point of view, I gotta give it a thumbs up. From my point of view, nah.
Okay. Yes, if you haven't checked out the video, if I'm not mistaken, that dropped last night, the 2K Lab Intimidator badge. There's also data for free on their website, so shout out to my guys over there. Make sure you go check those out. Let's go ahead and rate this. Mike, I'll throw it to you first. What do you want to give our friend Chosen One 2K?
I'm gonna give him an 8. I like the build. It's solid. I don't think it should never be a primary ball handler. Can be a primary defender. Not a big fan of that either, but if that's what he does and he's good at it, that's great. So I'll stay at 8.
Okay, Nate?
Retweet. I'm going 8 as well. And I think that, so he said he wants it to be a baby Kawhi build. And I think he did a fairly decent job of replicating that sort of build. I just think, like you pointed out, the thing with the playmaking badges, if you could have more defensive badges on this and maybe a little bit less playmaking badges, I think it would have been like an 8.5 or a 9 for me. But because of that, I got to give it an 8.
Okay, I'm going to go with you guys. I think it's an above average build. He's done a pretty good job of badges. You make a couple tweaks, and it's an 8.5. I think the ceiling on this build is a 9 if everything was perfect. You could have made it a 10 if you didn't go with as many playmaking badges in my mind. But great build, I think, and best of luck to you. Go hoop, Chosen One 2K. All right, next up we have Tony VLLL. He's at YoTony_ on Twitter. It's another shooting guard, 6'5", minimum wingspan, 96 overall, 175, rec, and my career. So no park guys, no pro-am, just rec and my career. This is a casual build. He plays with friends, often the primary shooter and secondary ball handler. He watched our video on jump shots, so he's using the Ray Allen base. Just kidding, he's had it since release. But make sure you go watch our video if you haven't yet. Lord Farquaad is his name inside the game. I love it. He's a shooting guard scoring machine. Mike, what do you think about his attributes?
Let's see. It seems to me that is this a pure shooter build that came out as a scoring machine? Just looking at the attributes, at 96 overall with an 89. Oh, this is a play sharp actually. I'm looking at the ball hand. Yeah, this is a play sharp. Okay. Based on that, as a shooting guard, I'm not a big fan of the play sharp. I think as a shooting guard, you should have defense on there, especially if he's playing rec, which is 5v5. I don't think he's going to be on ball that much. So I would have gone with a two-way shooter instead, or even a BP build at that level of shooting guard. Even if he's 6'5", you still get good shooting, good slashing, and good speed. So, but he does play a lot of my career, and having playmaking in my career is going to help a lot. So far so good. Not a fan of the build, but it's a good build overall.
Yeah, I think if it's a casual build, play sharp, probably okay, but like you said, there are definitely other more overpowered builds that we've seen in this game. He's got the Christmas hoodie on here as well. Love it. Little late, but we won't penalize you there for that. Get some Pacers gaming gear if you want to get your ranking up, though. I'll tell you that. Nate, talk to me about his badges here. Finishing.
Yeah, finishing. So he's got Giant Slayer, Fancy, Slithery. When you look at his attributes, I mean, outside of close shot, he's not going to probably be finishing at the rack at a high clip, in my opinion, with 76 driving layup and 71 dunking. So, it's tough, man. I would probably up Slithery, take down Giant, maybe up Fancy. I don't know. I mean, you only got 4 finishing badges. I don't think it's going to make a tremendous difference either way.
Right. These badges probably won't make or break the build. More personal preference when you have so few, I would say. But Mike, when we get down to shooting here, what do you think? A couple interesting badges here we haven't seen in a while for a shooting guard.
Yeah, slippery off ball for sure. I've tried it, not a fan of it. Don't see much of a difference in my experience. I would probably take that off. Difficult shots, that's a big no-no in my opinion. Taking off-balance shots, that's how I used to play most of the time before. So I would definitely take it off because that will not boost your percentage. It'll just give you extra attribute points towards your moving shot. I would go without that for sure. You must have Deadeye as a shooter, so you might want to also bring down catch and shoot to silver and then put Deadeye on Hall of Fame. That's what I would do.
Yeah, and especially if you're grinding my career, I feel like those computers somehow get a contest every time. So having Deadeye, if you're grinding your player and trying to really hoop, throw Deadeye on because it will make a difference, especially against the AI. And some of the players you're playing against in the rec. If you run into Nate, it's like playing an AI sometimes. So I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Had to get you there, though. Get you there.
Come on. That was a low blow right there, man. Come
boom, boom, boom. Got you. No, Nate is far from it. I'm actually talking about myself in a lot of respects there.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, Nate, talk to me about playmaking.
I'm with you. Quick first step. So he says he's a secondary ball handler. I would probably, and Mike, you can talk about this too. How do you feel about Space Creator? How do you feel about that?
It works if you want to have fun with it. If you're in the park and you're trying to catch some ankles and get some clips, that's about it. It's not effective. It's not going to help your team. It's not going to help you score more. It's just useless for rec, to me, it's just useless, really.
Yeah, and that's my thoughts on it as well. I don't think that you need it. I think it's a little bit of a gimmicky thing if you want to mess around with in parks. So I agree with that. So I'd take that off. I'd honestly put on floor general if you're going to be the secondary ball handler, and that could be a plus for your point guard, and for your center and for the rest of your teammates as well. So I would swap space creator and floor general. And then I might leave everything the same if he's going to be that secondary ball handler sort of role.
Yeah, you got to put Bale out there too, man. Come on.
Got it. Oh, he doesn't have Bale. I didn't even see that he didn't have Bale on. Oh, you got it. You got to have Bale on. So you got to figure out a way to get that on. Take down tight handles by one or something. I don't know. Figure out a way to get Bale out.
And that's a great point on floor general for rec center, especially because sometimes if you're not playing with a full five, anything that could help those random players become better and elevate their game, you can help them out in that respect. So that's a great point. If you're playing rec, think about floor general if you have enough attributes. Okay, last but not least, 4 in defense and rebound.
How about you take this one right here, Cody?
You want me to take this one?
You take this one. You got this one. Defense and rebounding.
Let's see.
There's only 4, so it's not going to be that tough.
We're going to go Hall of Fame lightning reflexes and call it a day.
and then just call it a day. Yeah, there you go.
No. Let's see. If he's probably guarding the second option, I like having some kind of clamps on there. Intimidator bronze, not badge. I probably wouldn't have pick dodger on, especially in the rec center. I would want to throw at least bronze interceptor on, I think, because there's probably some guys throwing some scaries in the rec that you could really take advantage of. So
scary city in the rec.
I think it definitely is. So I would go clamps, intimidator, interceptor, and maybe even throw that on silver is the way I would go, I think.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Good deal.
Cool.
See, it wasn't that tough.
Yeah, you put me on the spot after my.
I did. I put you on the spot a little bit.
Did.
I definitely did.
That's okay. That's what this show's all about, though. You got to think on your feet. Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Speaking of, I'll go ahead and rate this build first. I think it's my turn to go first. So Tony, aka Lord Farquaad, for rec in my career, this play sharp. I'm going to give it a 7. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's bad. I think you can have some fun with it if you switch around the badges a little bit. Definitely an average build that you could dominate with and have some real fun and control the game in both rec and my career. Mike?
I'm going to go with a 6.5 on it. Like I said, like you mentioned earlier, when you make a build, you got to have a purpose with it, right? You got to think about how you're going to play, who you're going to play with. And this build just feels kind of purposeless to me. It has badges that say one thing and attributes that say another. So I'm going with 6.5.
Nate?
Give it a 7. I think it's an average build. I think you can have fun with it, but it's not like the meta or anything like that. So 7 out of 10.
Awesome. Thank you again for submitting your build, Tony. All right, build number 4 in this episode, we have Eclipse. We said it's Eclipse backwards. Look, I didn't even read the next line down there. Thank you, Spencer, for letting me know right there. Eclipse. I got it. Thank you, Nate. Okay. Eclipse is a center. He is 6'11", 1 below max wingspan, 94 overall, 245. He plays everything, so let's keep that in mind. Rec, Pro-Am, Park, my career. This build can also play the power forward position. We go down, it's a glass lock. Again, 94 overall. Mike, what do you see at first glance here with these attributes?
Let's see. Well, he does play all modes. So based on that, it looks good. I would have gone maybe a little bit less height, 6'10", and max out the wingspan instead. You get more speed, and you still get a good reach for those rebounds and defense. I'm a big fan of shorter centers with max wingspan because I've seen many people use them, and they're very effective against taller centers. So 3 is nice. It has a 73-point shot. He's not going to be super consistent unless he's elite at shooting. but he can open up the floor as a power forward or as a center. Defense looks really good. Offensive rebound 80, defensive rebound 87. It's seems like a good all-around center. Let's call it that.
Mm-hmm. Similar to the trend we've seen so far with the build submitted today.
Right.
Nate, what do you think about this one?
I hate this build. I don't like this build at all. I don't like it at all. I think you could have. There's so many different things you could have done if you wanted to. Listen, okay, he's 6'11", and he's trying to make essentially like a defending pop build, which early in 2K, a lot of people made that. And with a 73-pointer, you will not be able to hit consistently off the pop with this build. Like I promise you, unless you got something that I don't have, I just haven't seen people with a 73 be able to shoot consistently with this sort of build. You could have easily gone 6'11" paint beast, and your defensive and your rebounding stats could have been even better than they are. So instead of 80 offensive rebounding and 87 defensive rebounding, you could have had like 99s in both those categories. And just don't worry about shooting the ball. You have a 73. You're finishing. It's not bad, but again, it could be better if it was a paint beast. I just think if you want to make a popper build that's a big, this isn't the build to make for that type of thing that you're trying to do. So those are my early thoughts. I don't like the build.
Okay.
Not gonna lie.
Okay, that's why we do this, though. We're telling it to him straight and how we think he can improve, or others who are considering to make builds. That's why we do this show, to talk
That's
about
why
it.
we do it.
And let us know.
Keep it honest.
Exactly. Keep it honest. Let us know in chat right now if you're in the live premiere. If you completely disagree with Nate, I want to hear it. Or if you agree with them, tell them right now as well, or on YouTube, leave a comment down below if you're watching later. Mike, we're going to flip it this time, and we're going to start with defense and rebounding badges first on this build. So he has 20 to work with. He's already earned all of these, and even though he's a 94 overall. What do you think about his badge layout?
Let's see. Box Hall of Fame, good. Brick wall, Intimidator, Worm, Rim Protector, Rebound Chaser. Seems like a good generic combination that any center should have. There's nothing in particular that I can really point out. A lot of people like to use pogo stick. If he's very disciplined in defense, he won't need it. But if he likes to jump around a lot and try to get some blocks, I would go pogo stick and maybe take out Worm. I'm not a fan of that badge. I think he can do better with, sure.
Okay.
Maybe even Interceptor, that helps down low.
That's what I was going to say. Personally, I think I would lower box at least to silver and use that into Interceptor, or maybe even one in Interceptor, one in Chase Down, just so he can have that. If he's guarding the pick and roll and gets beat by a guard, he can chase that because it does activate in the half court still. Yeah, Nate, I'm going to throw you playmaking. He's got Break Starter on here for his one badge. Is that what you would use?
Yeah, it actually probably is. Yeah. Okay. I'd use Break Starter.
Not Bailout?
I don't think so. No, man, it hurts me because I love Bailout so much.
Yep.
I think I'd use Break Starter.
See, here's going to be the issue, Mike. When we get the league builds and we know the 8 options for each position, Nate's going to be scrolling through the badges saying, does this have Bailout? Does this have Bailout?
Like, if it doesn't have Bailout, just throw it in.
Right. Exactly.
It might be my favorite badge in the history of 2K. It might be. I love it.
It's the most underrated badge ever, in my opinion. It's
a great badge to have on bronze. Yeah. And in this case, you know what? You might have just convinced me, Cody. I might No, I would keep on Break Starter. I would keep Break Starter on bronze.
See, I can see the point guard in the league build only having Bailout, so Nate's going to ask to run the 1 this year. He's going to be our star point guard.
Let's get to it. Let's do it.
All right, Mike, what about his shooting badges here? Man, this is crazy. And it goes back to what Nate talked about. 17 shooting badges and really only has a 73 ball. So this is interesting. What do you think, Mike?
Green Machine, like I said, if 2K says it's not good for you at 70, it is not good for you at 70. I trust them completely. Yep. Everything they say checks out for the most part. So I would take away Green Machine, pick and popper. like Nate said, I'm not sure you're going to be efficient popping out of the pick, the pick and pop. So I would take that away as well. I would bring range extender up to Hall of Fame instead. Deadeye, you must have Deadeye for sure. Catch and shoot, you could play with that as well because you only have 17. So you might want to put Hot Zone Hunter if you've developed Hot Zone. So that's one thing to keep in mind when recommending this badge as well.
Good point.
Definitely.
Great points.
Yeah. Nate?
Great points.
Well, I'm going to throw finishing to you. He's only earned 6, but he has 12 potential. Let's act like he does have all 12. How would you recommend he goes about allotting those?
Right. So I'm okay with the Lob City finisher. I might want to put on pick and roller. I'm good with consistent for now. And then contact, possibly fancy as well. Mess around with that. I wouldn't put them all on gold. So I don't know exactly how I would allocate whether it's gold or silver, but I would say those are the badges you can mess around with.
Okay. Mike, if you had to choose one badge that he doesn't have on here that you would apply once he's earned it, what would that one badge be?
It would be hands down Slithery Finisher for me. I'm a big fan of that badge.
Okay, awesome. So keep that in mind as you keep leveling up your guy. Eclipse, almost forgot your name there, but it is Eclipse. You tried to trick me.
I love the name. I love the name.
Yeah,
Great name.
Original.
It's a great name. It's a great name.
Great name. Great name.
All right, Eclipse. Let's go ahead and rate him. Nate, what would you like to give this build?
I'm going to give this build a 5 out of 10. I'm going to give him a 5.
Okay.
I just don't like it. I just don't, honestly. I don't like the build. I think some hot, some good parts about it is that his defense is high. He's 6'11". He's going to be able to move pretty decently, but I just don't think a 73 when you're playing sweats, when you're in that tense environment, I just don't think it can get it done. I think you would have been better off to go more of like a paint beast sort of role where you're just dominant in the paint, or if you wanted to go a pop role, you could have done something a little bit different than this. So 5 out of 10.
Okay, Mike?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of specialization, and especially for rec or pro-am, and this build is not special at anything. So for that reason, for me, it would have started off like around a 7, but then looking at the badges, the way they're allocated, I'm going with a 6.
Okay. Perfect. Now I'm going to go right in between you guys. You make it easy for me. I'm going to give it 5.5 here, following exactly what both of these guys said. It's doesn't really do one thing great. We're all about specialization at the highest level, and this build doesn't really check that box. And then on the other side, the badges need some reworking too. So 5.5 for me.
And Cody, just to add one quick thing too, because we talk about on this channel, we talk about specialization, and then there's some where we see like a lot of all around builds. I think when it comes to the big position, I think that's when you have to be more of like specialized. I think the other ones you can get a little bit more creative with, and like that Kawhi build we had earlier and stuff like that. You can have more fun with that stuff. But when you're talking about a big, you need that to be solid. You need that to be, okay, this is what I'm going to be, and I'm going to stick to it. So that's I think our reasoning for that.
It's the foundation of the whole team. It starts with the center. You're the most important position after the point guard, and you have to be special at defense, especially at defense.
Yep.
Well said.
What?
I was waiting for you to finish your drink.
Is this going to be in the blooper reel?
This might be. We actually already started this build, Nate. So you've been chugging, and we've been waiting on you for 10 minutes here.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
I had to get my water. All right.
Last build of the day, guys and girls, is King Cesar II, small forward, 6'8", max wingspan. I like the look of that. 94 overall, 214, plays park and rec. So he's not playing elite level pro-am. Keep that in mind. Catch and shoot play style everywhere, not just in the corner. He dribbles every once in a while for a close fade, and sometimes facilitates. Okay? This is what we want more. If you guys let us know what your play style is and where you are on the court, we can really dive in deeper. So thank you to King Cesar.
We love it.
For sure. Okay, Nate, I'll throw it to you first. Other than the Celtics jersey, what do you think of this 3-level score?
Well, I think we're continuing our theme for the day with all-around play. Can I ask you, was that designed for this episode?
Spencer picked the builds today. So,
okay, so Spencer might have had some strategic reasoning behind that there.
He might. We'll see.
No, so we're continuing our theme with the all-around builds. I mean, I think, let me count. 1, 2, 3. So this guy has 3 different bars that are more than an 80 overall attribute. That's close shot, that's free throw, 4. Close shot, free throw, block, and defensive rebounding. So he doesn't specialize at really anything, I would say, which is fine because it's a small forward build. But I think early on we're going to see, I don't like the distribution between the defensive and offensive attributes. So I don't think he has enough shooting for having so little defense as he has. So that's early thoughts on this build.
Okay, Mike?
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Again, specialization. Nothing hits 90 on this build.
Yeah.
You got 4 bars at 80 plus, like Nate mentioned, and close shot and free throw, and not that important. I'm not a fan of this build at all so far.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What happened there, Tony?
Spencer just he got me good here. It looks like we've got some new, or the sun came out, or new lights or something. What happened?
Something.
I'm gonna need one of those.
Something.
Talking about me picking builds.
Yeah. We've had some really good builds, but all around. Was that planned by you?
3 of the builds were people who fulfilled some of the things that we asked about in the episodes.
Okay.
So they commented, or they went to maybe Nate's episode, said what they learned on his.
Gotcha.
So I picked the last 2 though, random.
Gotcha. Okay.
So tried to pick like a center power forward build, and then I think a small forward. So
Yes.
not sure where we're at.
This is the last build of the day.
Okay. Small
Last
forward
build.
then.
Yep.
Right on.
Cool. All right, now that I have the sunshine, I'm getting a tan from this Elgato key light right here. We'll continue onto our finishing badges.
Let's do it.
Mike, Acrobat on gold and Contact Finisher. What do you think about Acrobat?
Don't like it for this build at all. He's not a elite level finisher, not even a decent level finisher with that 72 driving dunk and 55 standing. So I don't know what he was thinking with that. Don't like it at all. I would have gone with, you could leave contact finisher in there to help with those contact layups. Maybe fancy footwork is way more important, at least at silver, which is what I'm currently using and works for me. And then maybe pro touch and consistent finisher on bronze. And that would make up for the 6 badges right there.
Gotcha. Back to that little nugget you talked about earlier with All City, the Pro Touch consistent. I need to try that out for myself. That's a good point. Okay, Nate, catch and shoot Hall of Fame with no green machine, but he is at a 73 3-point. What do you think about this?
So I think, so he says he catch and shoots no matter where he is on the court. Range extender on Hoff is going to be interesting to see how consistent he can be with that from only having a 73-3. So if he's consistent with that, and if he insists on having that on, I think I would probably drop catch and shoot just to gold, and then probably throw green machine on bronze, and then you just got to live with that. Mm-hmm. If shooting from that deep isn't working, then take range extender off completely and just throw green machine on Hoff, or green machine on gold and then dead eye on gold. You could do that too.
All right.
It depends on how effective he is from shooting deep.
Sure, that makes sense. Mike, what about playmaking? Looks like he goes bronze bailout, which we like, and then gold quick first step and unpluckable all the way up to silver.
Quick first step. I'm not sure what he's trying to accomplish there with that. As you know, he is a small forward, but he says he does a lot of catch and shoot. Doesn't sound like he handles the ball much. Well, he shouldn't, at least, although he mentions it on his description. So bailout is good. I would take away quick first step. Instead, I would probably put break starter there. It seems like he's got a pretty good rebounding rate, which is one of the few things that he's kind of special at. Just going back to that specialization there. So, like I said, break starter. And then we could probably add in there maybe even lob city finisher, even though he's not going to dunk much, but it could help him, on those cuts to the basket.
All good points, and I'm trying to envision that in park. My first thought was, could downhill be useful on this kind of build?
Right.
But his rebounding's so high that I think I would go break starter, like you said. I think he'll be defending the corner more probably, and he could board up and throw it down court. So I really like that analysis from you there. Well done. Nate, what about his defense and rebounding here?
Yeah, so I actually think this badge layout is one of the better ones that he has. I would probably take down rim protector though. And then I think, is that box on bronze?
I think so, yep.
Okay, if you're playing out of the corner, that's fine. If you're playing up top, take it off. I think it's that clear cut. You might be able to put trapper on, maybe pickpocket up a little bit. I think the badge layout is pretty good as is. 15 badges, intimidator, chase down, clamps. Probably put clamps up, honestly. I might put clamps up, even if I'm playing in the corner or up top. I might put clamps on up a little bit, so that's what I would do.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting for me. He does have max wingspan, so interceptor could make sense that high. But if you're playing out of the corner and you have box and rebound chaser on, but then you also have pick dodger on.
Oh yeah, and you shouldn't have that on if you're playing in the corner.
Right.
You just shouldn't have it on at all.
Any thoughts from you, Mike, on this?
I'm right on point with all the things you guys mentioned. There's to add, although the setup looks good initially when you start digging down onto the things that he does, the way he describes he plays, not a fan of the whole setup. Definitely take out pick dodger, maybe put pickpocket there instead, bring up maybe intimidator, and that would probably be better for him.
Now this in my mind could be a build. Let's see. This could be a build that defensive leader might make sense for a team too, right?
Could, yeah.
If he's not guarding ball, or even if he is, probably. What do you think there?
That's a great point. I think I think if he's not guarding ball, for sure he could have it, or even if he's like guarding secondary ball handler, maybe playing the wing, I think that he could still have it there. And I think the more that I'm starting to look at this build and just going back to the attributes, I think like what's our friend's name? King Cesar? Mm-hmm. King Cesar. I think I'm trying to pronounce that right. I think where he kind of misstepped with this build, because there's some good things in this build, but I don't think he allocated his attribute points the right way he should have. Like I don't know what exactly the caps were for each one, but like I feel like with this build, you just shouldn't have that combination of 57 perimeter defense and then 73-3. Like you got to give me something in one of those areas. You have to in one of those areas. And he's not dunking on everybody. Like he only has 72 driving dunk, and then that correlates with the badges just kind of being. It's a weird build. It's kind of got a lot going on. It's that all around. He doesn't specialize in that one thing that we talk about. So,
yep.
And I guess I'm just kind of figuring that out as we're going along here.
Mike, last thoughts and rating here. Let's get it rolling.
This is a attempt to make a jack of all trades build. Again, emphasize on attempt.
That's a good way to put it, Mike. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, though.
He tried. It didn't work out. It's an incomplete puzzle. I'm going to give it a 5.
Okay. All right. I'll go next, and then we'll finish up the episode with you, Nate. You know,
it's a weird build, Cody. It's like you want to see potential in it, but you just can't.
Right.
That's where I'm at with it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I'm stunned.
It comes down to it. It seems like the best builds that we rate are good at 2 things. It seems like the best builds. It's not just one thing. It's 2 of those attribute categories and 2 of those badge categories that people just take off. They're special in 1 or 2 areas. This, I don't see, he's not even special in 1 in my mind. Mm-hmm. And he's not good enough in 3 or good enough in 4.
Correct.
I got to go with Mike. I'm going to give it a 5 as well. I just think it's plain Jane. He tried, but it's not to the level that I would expect for a great 2K player, even though he doesn't play Pro-Am. Park and Rec, where does he fit into a team? I'm not sure. Nate?
I'm going to give him a 5 as well for all those reasons. And yeah, it's confusing. I'd like to see him just go in a different route with the attribute allocation. I think he could have had a lot better of a build with that. So this is usable, right? But it's not, what we talk about in this channel, trying to create that specialization, create something that you can be defined by, doing one or 2 things, good or great. So 5 out of 10.
Great. So 5s on this last build. That's going to finish up this episode of Rate My Build. Nate, as always, thanks for hanging out. Guest judge for the next week, but he's going to be in town. We have some really exciting content coming soon with the guys. And then thank you again, Mike, so much for hanging out.
Mike was great. Mike was amazing.
He was
Thank
outstanding.
You guys. Appreciate that. It was awesome. Great experience working with you guys. Really enjoyed everything.
Mike was great.
Yes. Thank you. And let all our viewers and fans know where they can find you if they're interested in learning more about your content.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's even though you can hear me talk English, the Spanish community is a very underserved community in the 2K community. So it's a Spanish-speaking channel, full disclaimer here, but we put out very good content just to help out everyone. So if you speak Spanish and you're interested in that, definitely check us out, OneRedMike, and all social media platforms and YouTube.
Awesome. And what we should do is, as soon as we're done with this edit and Spencer has it ready to go, Mike, I think we should send it to you. And if you want to do anything in Spanish over top of what we talked about, I think that would be awesome content for anyone who might not understand English as well, too.
And Mike's Spanish is fluent. Like we were talking before the video today, and it's fluent. So like it's not, I was like, what? I couldn't understand. It was fluent, man. Fluent.
Yes, a very smart guy.
Right.
You're bilingual, fluency on both levels. So shout out to you, my man. Well done. Well, thanks guys for tuning in so much. Make sure you check out Mike. Thanks to Nate. Thanks to Spence for editing this as well. We'll catch you guys next time on the next episode of Rate My Build.
Hey guys, welcome to the after party. I'm just kidding.
We do an outro with him, I think.
Well, I usually keep the outro in the. I keep his outro in the video, and then I go to us.
Oh.
On the outro.
To us right now?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Project A coming soon. I was thinking the other day, March 1st.
March 1st, guys will be in town.
Maybe.
We'll be working on our playbook.
Maybe March 1st. Don't hold me to it.
Be working on our playbook, working on some other things. Ooh.